Feedback to me is a very interesting area. And for many people, it's very challenging, both to give it and to receive it. Um, this probably won't surprise you, but I find in my role, as I've progressed to where I am, that giving feedback to students is something of an art form. Equally, giving feedback to professional staff, to colleagues, is also an art form in itself. And interestingly, the feedback to professional colleagues is, in my experience, more demanding than the feedback to students. Because the students have a cultural mindset where they may not always want to hear what you have to say to them, but they realize it's part of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas professionally, colleagues, um, even though they understand the theories and the values of feedback, inevitably their ego and personality come into it when they're attempting to listen to what you're trying to offer them with good intentions. Hopefully they struggle with themselves to actually truly listen. And I found that not just in academia but in other organizations where I've worked in the past as well, where I've had some kind of informal management leadership role or even formal, where part of my job is to help others, and it's quite challenging. You want to help others, you want to lend them the benefit of a different view. I find myself sometimes saying to colleagues or to students, but let's stay with colleagues for a moment. I might have observed a session and I might say to them, well, I might have my own thoughts about how the session went, but I'll find good ways of couching it. I might say, how did you think that went? Oh, that's interesting. Is there anything you think you could do differently? And I find those kind of approaches are better received than if I start coming in with what the other person might perceive as my size 10 boots and offering the dubious benefit of my actual experience. So the message would end up being much the same, but I would take them there voluntarily as if they were leading me rather than me leading them. And that's an art form, that's coaching, isn't it, really?
Absolutely, yeah. And that part is it makes it sustainable, isn't it? It lasts very,
Maintain
very.
the relationship and
Mm.
they learn, and it's almost they have a dawning realization themselves, even though you are subtly taking them there as well.
Mm. And it's less uncomfortable, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes because we're all driven by what needs to be achieved within a certain time, or quite often we are. And I might have an inclination to just to get to the point, and this is what you need to do, and that's the situation. But that's not productive. It doesn't work that way. You can end up taking twice as long because it wasn't well received.
Exactly. Yeah, you
Mm.
can. I wouldn't say do the damage because it can always be repaired, right? As long as you can be reflective and realize, and this is the authentic human bit. It's like, okay, didn't go well. How can I repair the relationship with this person? How can I create that safety again to have a next take?
And relationships between people are interesting and complex because you can be dealing with the same individual on different occasions, different days, or even the same day,
Mm.
depending on the experiences we've been through, they've been through, I've been through. All of that is thrown into the mix, and you may not have the same reaction from the same person even an hour later, never mind a day later, because their headspace is somewhere else. And this is why I'm a great believer, or have a great interest in emotional intelligence.
Mm.
And I think that's so important in terms of self awareness and our ability to be aware of others and how we interact. It would just be nice if sometimes, I'm sure I'm mistaken, sometimes more people would actually showed an interest in that.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, sorry, you're gonna say.
No, no, I'm just thinking it's that calibration, it's ongoing, constant calibration of ourselves and our own emotional state in the moment we are giving feedback or relating to another person as well as theirs. And what I found really interesting is that more I'm present, the less me is in this conversation or in this relationship. It's more open, it's stronger, and people then, regardless of what they feel at the moment, they're more open to receiving it in a good way than receiving my ego, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just something that I mean, obviously, sometimes I'm more aware of it and can do it better, and sometimes I can't, but I guess every time I learn more.
Because we're human, our state varies, and sometimes I've always drawn to the expression of the flow, being in the flow, if you like, or even just the concept of being rather than doing.